Friends, thank you for being here today. Oh, Cancer souls, has a baseless melancholy been casting a shadow over your home lately? A strange sense of emptiness invading your space, an invisible weight pressing on your mind, even in the very place you feel safest? Please, do not dismiss it as your imagination. It is a sign that something is returning, not to scare you, but to seize the very core of your soul that you so painstakingly found again. If you belong to the sign of Cancer, listen with great care, for this warning is incredibly urgent. To know what it is, we must journey back to the origin of those silent fractures of the past, to the very place it first began to emerge, where you were completely unaware. In life, there are moments we suddenly feel a chill, a coldness not from the weather, but from an unseen entity seeping into your inner sanctuary. It cannot be seen, yet it touches the deepest, most hidden wounds of your heart. That is the moment you realize something is returning. Something you believed was forever locked away and sealed in the past. But you have forgotten that not every closed door is secure, and not everything that vanishes has truly gone. In recent times, have you sensed a lurking presence? Not the kind that spies from outside, but a strange sensation like a cold breath in the air. It makes no sound, it has no touch, yet you feel its effects acutely. Depletion. A draining of your life force, as if you are no longer yourself. This is not a vague feeling. It is a signal that a force is seeking to return and reclaim a part of you, the part that was once hurt, controlled, and forced into silence. Perhaps, in your past, there was someone who made you walk on eggshells in your own home. You feared the sound of their voice, a person you loved to the point of self-forgetfulness, or someone who embedded in your mind the idea that you were eternally not good enough. That person may no longer be in your life, but their resonance still clings to a hidden corner of your subconscious. The spiritual world calls this an echo from the past. It is the energy of old emotional weights, unfulfilled desires, shapeless anxieties, things that refuse to fade away. And today, I am here to tell you, it is on its way back. You will not see it, but you will feel it. The sudden sigh as you are about to fall asleep, the light bulb that flickers without cause, the sharp cold on the back of your neck, or the uncontrollable shiver when an old memory surfaces. Some might call it coincidence, but I do not. For the wise have taught that a thief does not enter through the main door. He slips through the cracks in one's faith. The most terrifying thing is not the arrival of darkness, but the moment we fail to realize it has already crept in. It is not coming to take away someone you love, no. Its objective is to invade your very soul, the part of you that you fought for years, to heal, to mend, to love once more. It comes like a whisper in the night, like a sense of guilt that rises just as you grant yourself a moment of happiness. It is the voice inside your head, insisting you are inadequate, you will fail, that no one is truly sincere with you. Please recognize, that is not your voice. It is the lingering echo of those who made you doubt yourself. Cancer, you possess the most nurturing and warmest of hearts, and for that very reason, you are the one most vulnerable to deep wounds. But the person you are today is different. Today, you have every right to look straight into the past and say, no. No to the dark echoes. No to anyone who ever forced you to hide your own light. Because sometimes, we don't need to destroy the darkness. We simply need to light our inner lamp. When the light is brilliant enough, the shadows will retreat on their own. To do this, you don't need superhuman strength. You only need to return to your own center, to the place where that sacred flame has never died. From there, you will see with clarity, no one can control you when you are no longer afraid. No one can steal your light when you no longer run from it. And if you are wondering, is that flame still burning? Do I have the strength to protect myself? Pause, take a deep breath, and remember, your light is the one thing it can never replicate. For that light is not created by you. It flows through you from the divine, from the eternal source. You are still existing, you are still breathing. That means you still have the power to choose. the power to choose not to let the ghost of the past seize what you reclaimed with tears and faith. The very moment you touch this truth, another shift is occurring. A new layer of consciousness unfolds. The veil in your soul is lifted, and you perceive what was forgotten. You are being observed, not by people, but by an energy field. An old energy attempting to latch back onto the pure space you have just cleansed. We will move forward, but not with fear, but with eyes that have begun to see from within. You know, some things leave no physical trace, yet still disrupt us, like an invisible touch, a silent sob, a mirror fogged by the breath of the past. After many years of illuminating and healing souls, I have come to realize a single truth. The stronger your inner light becomes, the more you not only brighten your future, but you also expose what was once hidden in the shadows. You have come so very far, Cancer. I know you have done the most difficult work in the world, the journey of returning, of coming home to your own essence, coming home to the light after days when your soul was adrift in the undefined, and you have started to perceive with clarity what was once only a vague feeling. You can distinguish between love and disguised chains, between sweet words that hide control and care that wears the mask of possession. You even realize that you, too, once bound yourself with fear and unnecessary tolerance. As your soul transforms, the energies that were once fed by your softness begin to resist. They don't return as phantoms, but through seemingly normal situations. A message from a forgotten name, an encounter your intuition screams against, a casual remark that reopens an old wound, a dream that pulls you back to where you once were lost. All of these are tests of your light. And do you know, the more brilliant the light, the more clearly the unresolved issues are revealed. The moment you begin to truly love yourself is also the moment that those who fed on your pain feel their power dissolve. The moment you speak your truth is when the falsehoods around you begin to crumble. The moment you stop pleasing everyone is when you begin to live your own life and your light takes form. Cancer, you are an incredibly refined soul. You feel what is unsaid. You touch the pain of others without asking. For this reason, you often carry burdens that are not your own. But today, know this: you are no longer responsible for carrying anything that does not belong to the light. Gently lay it down, like a leaf releasing a drop of morning dew. Return what is not yours in stillness, without a single word of blame. A great teacher once said, "You will know them by their fruits." If someone leaves you feeling exhausted, small, and doubtful, then their energy is not pure. Perhaps you are asking yourself, am I strong enough to reject what was once so familiar? Am I being overly sensitive when my gut feeling tells me something is wrong? I want you to trust that your feeling is absolutely real. You are not deluding yourself. Your intuition is warning you, and that is a strength, not a weakness. It is a form of primal wisdom. Not all darkness roars and terrifies. Often, it appears in gentle disguises: a seemingly kind person, a seemingly secure job, a relationship with nothing obviously wrong, except that it causes you to shrink a little more each day. These are the things we must be most awake to. Your soul cannot be chained, but it can be imprisoned by tiny compromises, a moment of silence when your heart wants to scream, a nod of agreement when your spirit wants to refuse, a dream deferred for fear of judgment. Little by little, you drift from yourself without realizing it. But you are still here, and the light has never stopped calling your name. Today, if you feel as if you are being followed by an unseen energy, turn your focus inward. In that inner space, there are no cameras, no one is supervising you. There is only you and your primordial source of light. Right now, you don't need to resist. Simply stand still and acknowledge it. Say in your heart, I see this presence. I do not fight it, but I will not walk with it. And then that energy will dissipate, like smoke in the wind. Awakening doesn't mean you will no longer face challenges. Awakening means you no longer react in the old way. You no longer fight. You no longer fear. You simply are, with yourself, like a candle that knows its purpose is to exist and to shine. And when you can hold that flame, you will feel something new. Not a pursuit, but a presence. A pure space where you can protect your energy with a gentle, profound, and quiet strength. This is where we must begin our practice. Not to escape, but to learn how to intentionally maintain your light. Because it's not enough for light to simply shine. It must be held steadily, like a declaration, an invisible shield, a boundary woven from love. This is where I want to guide you, right now. You are ready, Cancer. We will no longer just observe. We will learn to preserve our light with faith, with small rituals, with a simple prayer powerful enough to make all shadows pause. So close your eyes and step with me into that space where you begin to build your boundaries. With light, there are invisible boundaries that, if you don't actively create them, others will cross, intentionally or not. Not everyone carries negative energy, but if you do not consciously protect your bright space, darkness will find a crack to seep through. I am not speaking of the physical world, but of a deeper realm where mind and soul converge. There, every choice leaves an imprint. Every word creates a resonance. And once you have begun to walk on the path of light, once you have opened your heart again after years of being closed, there is a crucial task you must undertake. Learn to preserve yourself, not from a place of fear, but from the self-knowledge that you are the guardian of your own soul's garden. You do not need anyone's permission to protect your peace. You do not need to justify your refusal of a connection. You do not need to feel guilty for choosing to keep your energy clean. This is not selfishness. It is the most benevolent act you can perform for yourself and for the world. So how to begin? I will not guide you through complex ceremonies. There are just 3 simple actions you can take today. 3 small acts with enough power to re-establish the energetic boundary around you, not as a wall, but as a gentle yet unyielding aura. The first is prayer. Begin your day by placing a hand on your chest and sincerely whispering a prayer. May a sacred light envelop me today. May I have the clarity to distinguish love from deception. May I remain steadfast in kindness, but not be easily exploited. May your light be a circle of protection for my soul. There is no right or wrong formula, as long as it comes from your heart. The second is the cleansing act of water and light. Before sleep, place a glass of clear water by your bed. Gaze at it, close your eyes, and visualize a warm, glowing light wrapping around you like a blanket, and whisper, "Any energy that is not of the light has no permission to touch me. Tonight, I am safe and shielded." You will be amazed at the change in your sleep. Water has the ability to cleanse energy. Light creates a boundary. When you combine them with focus, you are sending out a powerful signal. This house is occupied, and it is protected. The third is the technique of severing negative energetic cords. When you feel drained by a person or situation, do not try to endure it. Step away for a moment, stand still, and close your eyes. Breathe deeply and imagine an energetic cord between you and them. Then, visualize a pair of light scissors gently cutting that invisible cord and tell yourself, "I release this connection. I return it to the light. I don't need to understand everything to be at peace." You don't need anyone's consent. You only need to disconnect from within yourself first. I know these practices are not mainstream. You won't hear them on the news. But they are what I have used and have witnessed thousands of souls be reborn through. Society teaches us how to curate our appearance. They teach us how to please others, but no one teaches us how to remain whole after being broken. Dear Cancer, you were not born to live up to the expectations of others. You are not here to be kind to the point of self-annihilation. You are here to become the flame that the world needs. But that flame must be nurtured, not allowed to burn out. Today, start by reserving a small corner just for you. A sacred space where no negativity can touch, because in this chaotic world, the one who knows how to guard their own peace is the one who can heal the energetic field around them. And when you do this, you will notice a miraculous change. No one can violate your space anymore, not even with their words. You will no longer feel exhausted just by being near certain people. You will no longer lose yourself to keep someone from leaving. Instead, you will stand tall, not to fight, but to be your most complete self. Steady, gentle, radiant, and inviolable. And precisely at the moment you stand there, serene amidst the world, something else happens. Not only will people from the past wish to return, but new temptations, sweet invitations, will also appear. But this time, you will no longer be afraid, because you know their true desire is not for you, but for the light you carry. This is what we must face, right here, right now. There are nights you feel so empty that a prayer cannot even form on your lips. Not from a loss of faith, but from sheer exhaustion. I know you don't need more hollow words about being strong. You need a safe harbor to simply be, without judgment, without doubt, without performance. And that is exactly what this force wants to steal. Not your assets, not your reputation, but your sacred right to live authentically. It doesn't need to lock your doors. It only needs to plant self-doubt in your heart, to make you believe you are not good enough to be yourself. It seeps in like smoke through cracks you thought had healed. The phrases from childhood. Don't be so sensitive. You have to be tough, tired already. It uses all of them as weapons to make you forget you were born whole, that you have always been light, and it was the world's shadows that made you feel you had to hide. It fears you remembering this. It fears you stepping out of the role you've played for too long. It fears you no longer needing permission to be at peace. Because when you rise up with truth in your heart, you are no longer just an awakened soul. You become a lighthouse in the quiet. Not loud, but bright enough for others to find their way. That is why you are tested, not because you are weak, but because you have begun to refuse to be controlled. You once made yourself small so others could feel comfortable. You once swallowed your tears so no one would see you as fragile. You once endured injustice just to keep the peace. But what happens when you no longer live to please? What happens when you lift your chin and declare, "This is me, and I have nothing to apologize for"? In that moment, Cancer, your true self returns. No more hiding, no more shrinking, no more compromising. It steps forward, quiet yet vibrant, and the entire world will feel it. You don't need to prove a thing. Your presence itself is a message. When you dare to live fully as your true self, your very presence becomes a healing message. That light will warm even those watching you from afar. They may say nothing, but they see. And one day, they too will dare to be real, because they saw you lead the way. You once thought you had to do great things to change the world. No, true change begins the moment you stop betraying yourself. From the moment you stop trying to fit in and begin to live quietly in your truth. Everything will then shift automatically. The wrong people will drift away. The unnecessary things will dissolve. And new doors will open, gently but firmly. You no longer have to choose between being loved and being yourself. You deserve both. True love will never ask you to become smaller to fit. It will expand its space to embrace all of you, even your imperfect parts. You don't need to be superficially brilliant. You just need to stop hiding your light. You just need to stop folding yourself up when your soul wants to speak. You were born with a unique light, and when you live in harmony with it, you not only heal yourself, you become a safe haven for other souls who are trembling and searching for their way. You are living proof that even after being shattered, one can return, even more profound and radiant than before. No one can steal your soul unless you hand it over, and today you did not. You chose to rise, and that alone, dear Cancer, is enough to make your inner light a steadfast pillar for this world. If what has been shared today resonates within you, please leave a comment. The echo from the past in my life is, it could be a person, a memory, or a part of yourself you once denied. Writing it down is the first step to allowing the light to touch it. Thank you for listening and for allowing yourself to connect with your truest self. May you always be guided by light, protected by the divine, and kept safe in the very love you once forgot to give yourself. May peace and clarity always accompany you, steady, gentle, radiant, untouched. And it is precisely when you stand there, tranquil in the heart of the world, that another thing begins to happen. Not only will people from your past want to return, but new things, peculiar temptations, and alluring invitations will also emerge. But this time, you will no longer be afraid, because you understand what they truly desire is not you. It is the light you hold inside. And that is what we must confront together, right here and now. There are nights you feel so hollow that your prayers can no longer ascend. Not because you have lost your faith, but because you are depleted. I know you don't need more words urging you to be strong. You do not need anyone to sketch out a new horizon for you. What you need is a safe haven where you can simply exist as you are, free from doubt, judgment, and performance. And that is precisely what it wants to take from you. Not your belongings, not your reputation, but your sacred right to live authentically. It doesn't need to lock your doors. It only needs to plant doubt in your mind, to make you believe that you are not sufficient, to be who you are. It arrives like smoke seeping through the fissures you believed were healed. The phrases you absorbed as a child, "Don't be so sensitive, you have to be tough, you're tired already, and you've done nothing." It collects all of these like weapons to make you forget that you were born sufficient, that you have always been a source of light. It was only that the world was so filled with shadows that you felt compelled to conceal it. It is afraid of you remembering. It is afraid of you stepping out of the role you have performed for too long. It is afraid of you no longer needing permission just to be at peace. Because when you rise with truth in your heart, you are no longer merely an awakened soul. You become a beacon in the quiet, not loud, but brilliant enough for others to find their path. And that is the reason you are tested, not because you are fragile, but because you have started to resist being controlled. You once made yourself smaller to keep others comfortable. You once concealed your tears so no one would see you as weak. You once tolerated the undeserved simply to maintain the peace. But what happens when you no longer exist to please others? What happens when you raise your head and declare, "This is me, and I will not apologize for it"? In that moment, Cancer, your authentic soul returns. No more hiding, no more shrinking, no more compromising. It steps forward, quiet yet vibrant, and the entire world will feel it. You don't need to prove a thing. Your presence alone is the message. A person who dares to live with authenticity is a living prayer in this world. You do not need to speak. You only need to be, genuinely. And that light will bring healing to those watching you from the shadows. They may not utter a word, but they see. And one day, they too will dare to be authentic, because they witnessed you dare first. You once believed you had to accomplish something monumental, to be called a world changer. But no, real change starts the moment you stop betraying yourself. From the moment you ceased forcing yourself to fit in and began to live quietly in your truth, everything shifted. Those who didn't belong naturally drifted away. What no longer served you simply dissolved. And doors you never anticipated began to open, gently yet with unshakable certainty. You no longer have to choose between being loved and being yourself. You are deserving of both, and real love will never demand that you shrink to fit. True love enlarges the space, making it wide enough to embrace all of you, even the corners that are not yet perfected. You do not need to shine in a superficial sense. You only need to stop concealing your light. You only need to stop folding yourself smaller when your soul yearns to speak. You were born carrying a light that belongs to no one else, and when you live in alignment with it, you are not only healing yourself, you become a safe ground for other trembling souls, searching for their own way. You are the living evidence that even after shattering into pieces, one can still return to oneself, but deeper, brighter, and more radiant. No one can ever steal your soul unless you surrender it, and today you did not. You chose to rise. And that, dear Cancer, is enough to make the light within you become a steady pillar for this entire world. If what I have shared today stirs something inside you, leave a line. The echo in the hearth of my life is. It may be a person, it may be a memory, it may be a part of you that you once tried to hide. Writing it down is the very first way for light to touch it. Thank you for sitting here, for listening, and for allowing yourself to be touched by that truest part of you. May light always be your guide. May God always be your protector. And may you be kept safe by the very love you once forgot to give yourself. May peace and clarity always walk with you on the path you choose. Of course, here is an expansion of approximately 1,000 words, written in American English. This new section flows directly from the previous content, delving deeper into the nature of your inner light, the specific forms the new temptations will take, and the profound impact your authentic self will have on the world around you. Let us continue, dear Cancer, for choosing to rise is not the end of the journey, it is the true beginning. The work you have done to reclaim your soul and stand in your truth has created a resonance, a signal that has been sent out into the universe. You have fortified the walls of your inner sanctuary, not with stone but with self-worth. You have learned the sacred art of energetic boundaries, but now we must speak of what comes next. This next phase is not about defense, but about radiance. It is about understanding the very anatomy of the light you carry and learning to wield it not as a shield, but as a beacon that actively shapes your reality. The light within you is not some abstract mystical fire. It is the purest distillation of your very essence. It is the unwavering compassion that allows you to feel the pain of others without losing yourself in it. It is the profound intuition that whispers truths long before your logical mind can catch up that gut feeling, that sudden knowing that has saved you time and time again. Your light is the creative force that longs to nurture, to build, to create a home not just with walls and a roof, but with love and safety. It is the fierce loyalty you show to those who have earned a place in your heart. When you live in alignment with these truths, you are not just being yourself, you are vibrating at the frequency of your soul. This frequency is a law of nature. It nourishes what is resonant with it and naturally repels what is not. The echo from your past, that draining, manipulative energy, vibrates at a low, discordant frequency. It fed on your self-doubt, your fear, your willingness to please. Now that you are cultivating self-love and authenticity, you are literally changing your vibrational signature. You are becoming harmonically incompatible with the very darkness that once held you captive. It cannot sustain itself in your presence, not because you are fighting it, but because your light is simply too bright and too pure for its shadows to survive. This brings us to the new challenges that were mentioned, the strange temptations and sweet invitations. Understand that the universe will always test the integrity of your newfound strength, but these new tests will be far more subtle and sophisticated than the old ones. The darkness will no longer approach you as an obvious threat. Instead, it will come disguised as a reasonable compromise, a logical solution, or even a second chance. It may appear as the ex-partner or toxic friend who returns, full of apologies and declarations of having changed. They will speak all the right words, mirroring the healing you have done. They will offer the sweet invitation of a familiar connection, a history you once shared. Your heart, in its infinite compassion, will want to believe them, but your intuition, your light, will feel a subtle drain, a faint dissonance beneath their words. The test here is not whether they have changed, but whether you have changed enough to trust your inner knowing over their outward performance. Can you love them from a distance, wishing them well, while honoring your own need for peace? The strange temptation might be a job offer that promises financial security, stability, and the approval of others. It will look perfect on paper. It will be the sensible choice. Yet, it may require you to silence that creative voice inside you, to shrink your spirit, to fit into a corporate box, to trade your authentic radiance for a steady paycheck. The old you, desperate for safety, would have taken it in a heartbeat. The new you will feel a profound sense of unease, a feeling that you are being asked to trade your soul for comfort. The test is your willingness to have faith in the unseen, to turn down the good opportunity in order to remain open for the one that is truly aligned with your spirit, even if it hasn't appeared yet. These temptations will also come through the people you love. A family member, accustomed to your nurturing nature, may try to pull you back into old dynamics of guilt and obligation. Their needs will seem urgent, and your desire to help will be strong. But you must now learn to discern. Are you giving from a place of genuine, overflowing love, or are you giving from a place of depletion to keep the peace? Setting a boundary with a loved one is one of the most advanced forms of self-love. It is a declaration that your well-being is not negotiable, and it is the only way to ensure that the love you give is pure, not resentful. As you navigate these tests and continue to choose your light, something truly magical begins to happen, the ripple effect. Your steady, authentic presence becomes a force of nature. You must understand, a soul that dares to be true is one of the most powerful catalysts for change in the world. When you walk into a room, your protected and radiant energy precedes you. People will feel it, even if they cannot name it. Some will be inexplicably drawn to you. Those who are on their own healing journey, those who are tired of pretending, will see in you a reflection of their own potential. Your courage to be yourself becomes a silent permission slip for them to do the same. You will not need to preach or advise. Your very being will be the lesson. You become a safe harbor, and other trembling souls will find comfort in your calm, knowing they can be themselves around you without judgment. This is your purpose, Cancer, to create spaces of emotional safety where others can begin to heal. Conversely, some people will be intensely repelled by you. Those who thrive on drama, who manipulate through guilt, or who are uncomfortable with genuine emotion, will find your serene energy to be intolerable. They may try to provoke you, to pull you back into chaos. They might label you as cold, selfish, or different now. When this happens, I want you to smile to yourself. It is the highest compliment. It is confirmation that your frequency is so high that it is now actively repelling the energies that once drained you. Their reaction is not about you. It is about the mirror you hold up to them, showing them the parts of themselves they are not ready to face. Do not engage. Do not defend. Simply continue to be the beacon. The ships that are meant for your harbor will find you. The ones that are not will steer clear of their own accord. This is the path forward. It is a daily practice of choosing authenticity over approval, peace over drama, and faith over fear. Your light is no longer a fragile flame to be hidden from the wind. It is a lighthouse, standing firm against the storm, guiding others home. You are the living proof that a nurturing heart does not have to be a wounded heart. It can be the strongest, most resilient force in the universe, a heart that has learned to mother itself first, so that its love for the world is an endless, pure, and healing resource. Stand tall in this truth. Shine without apology. The world desperately needs the unique and gentle radiance that only you can provide.